Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Wednesday morning. Hope everyone's all right. Everyone is okay and looking after themselves. Obviously, this video you can tell by looking at the thumbnail, by looking at the topic. We're talking Tyler Dibling. We're talking about how Spurs are quote unquote the favourites to sign him. We're talking about that. We're going to be talking as well about the Avengers coming back, and the Avengers are being back. So we talk about the three main stars all being back. We're also talking about some bad news surrounding Kulusevski, so there's plenty to talk about in that regard. There's a few other little bits and bobs that I will talk about when I get to it. Morning Spurs, Mr. K, Polly, Steve, how are we all? Look, obviously playing tomorrow and the start of what I find is the European journey. Maybe that's short-sighted of me, but I always viewed Spurs as a knockout team in the Europa League. You know, we were the betting favourites to start this competition. I always viewed us as a knockout team, and I now look at this as the start of the European journey. Old school, I know. Different mindset, maybe. But I'm looking forward to this week being a very, very impactful week ahead for Spurs this season. AZ Alkmaar in the next 2 weeks could determine, are we still in Europe? Do we have an opportunity to win a trophy? The next 2 weeks with Bournemouth and Fulham, two teams that are above us in the league. You win both those games, that league table, and I've always said for a while, that league table very much changes the way it will look going forward. I find these next 2 weeks before the international break absolutely enormous going forward for Spurs. Baz, Simo, Erwin, how are we all? Look, let's jump in. And let me start with Tyler Dibling, because I'm struggling with this one. I won't lie. I'm struggling. Morning, Boris. Big man, how are you? I'm struggling with this one because TalkSport, you know, I don't ever really listen to anything they say with any real care in the world, especially some of what the pundits say that are just awful. Which, by the way, I love it how people slag off YouTubers and they're rubbish at knowing football, but you get people on TalkSport who say even worse things just for clicks and likes. But apparently it's okay because they played 3 minutes of League One football. Anyway, TalkSport saying that Tottenham are leading the race to sign Southampton starter Tyler Dibling this summer. Spurs explored Dibling in January before being told that Southampton were not willing to sell despite his refusal to sign a new deal. So just a little bit on that last bit. I was sort of going through Twitter, and I was more so going through like the Southampton side of the Tyler Dibling thing, because you get some Spurs fans that go, love him, he's going to be incredible. You get some Spurs fans that go, crap, hate him. And I was thinking, let me go to the club that he's at right now. Let me just get through some information. Quite a few of them have turned on him. I can't lie, quite a few have turned. I'm not saying all of them have, and maybe I've just hit that sweet spot of finding most of the people that have turned on him, and there's the more majority that haven't. But from what I saw, a lot had turned on him. I think maybe due to the contract, potentially. That obviously is a possibility. I think, you know, he's got a contract until the summer of 2027, so he's still got 2 years left on his deal. But my key thing with this is, if they were to get relegated, you know, it's not obviously a done deal that they get relegated. You know, they could win 6 games in a row, and before you know it, everyone's going, actually, Southampton probably going to be safe now. But let's say they did get relegated. His situation would really then say he's going to get cashed in on. You're going to get your money. You take that money into the Championship, you know, and it helps you rebuild, and hopefully you can come back to the Premier League. But I'm also thinking of it this way, and maybe this is a bit different. And, you know, I've sort of said, you know, sometimes as Spurs fans, we're a little bit too full on surrounding our own youngsters. You Mikey Moores, you Wilson Odebears. Obviously, I know there were some people that are abusing him for some reason. Didn't really, maybe I missed the boat on that one, and I don't know what's going on there. But, you know, we love our Dane Scarlets, our Will Lancashires. We hate our Alejo Valizes, apparently. That was an odd one. You know, is Tyler Dibling really what we should be going for right now? We talk so much about, yeah, look at Archie and look at Lucas and Mikey's got talent and look at Wilson. And And, Mickey's still young and, oh, look at all these size. Look at Destiny. Look at all these young Kinski's a, young 21-year-old or 22 or however old he is. And then we also talk about in the same breath, can we sign players for the now? Can we help us now? We talk about Eberechi Eze. I'm not saying they're the same player. So before someone goes, Actually, Andy, Tyler Dibling plays right wing, Eze plays left wing. I don't care. Shut up. Don't be a loser. It's an example. We talk about Eze, England international, absolute player, ready to go. We talk about Brian Mbuemo on the right wing, absolute player. Looks like he's having an unbelievable season, ready to go. Hell, we talked about Johan Visser. We've talked about Antoine Semenyo. I mean, the fact that Antoine Semenyo, value-wise, won't be too far off of what Tyler Dibling does. Give me Semenyo. Give me Semenyo 27 times a week and 3,000 times on a Sunday. Tyler Dibling this season, right? Now he's playing in the Southampton team. I get that, maybe they're not prime Barcelona, but 28 times, 6 goal contributions. Now, as an 18-year-old, you're thinking that's pretty decent. He's played 23 times in the Premier League and scored 2 goals. No assists in the Premier League. I don't know exactly who Southampton have played. Who does Southampton FA Cup? Let me look at who they've played in the FA Cup because he's played twice. So they lost to Burnley and they beat Swansea 3-0. Lost to Burnley. Did he play in the Burnley game? He did. Okay. And then Swansea in the third round, he did. He scored 2. So he scored 2 goals against a mediocre side in the Championship in Swansea, and then didn't do anything against Burnley, who are towards the top end of the Championship. In the EFL Cup, he got 2 assists. So Southampton, spell Southampton, right? EFL Cup. Lost to Liverpool 2-1. Fair enough. Not an easy one. He played in that game. They beat Stoke City, who were a poor side in the Championship. Ashley Phillips scored in that game. Obviously, when we did the loan roundup, you'd have known about that. I mean, Adam Armstrong scored a goal for them in this game. Southampton. He's now in the Championship. Dibling didn't play in that game. They won on penalties away to Everton. Fair play, a decent result for them. He came off the bench in that game. And they won 5-3 away to Cardiff City, who are sort of a mid-table-ish side in the Championship. Where are they? Oh, no. They're not mid-table. They're actually near the bottom. So in reality, the stats that we're looking at are 2 goals in the Premier League because, okay, he's had those goals and assists, 5 games in the FA Cup and EFL Cup. He's got 4 goal contributions. You're thinking, hey, Andy, that's pretty damn good. Premier League, his bread and butter, 2 goals in 23 games. I must be missing something here. I really, really must be something miss. And don't get me wrong, I get these 18 and there's a lot of potential there. But we're also linked with players who are like ready to go now, who aren't old. I'm not talking about 30-year-olds. I'm talking about like 25-year-olds who are going to give you 5, 6, 7 years of quality. Give me those guys. I'd prefer a Brian Mbuemo. You want to talk about a player impacting a game and taking it by the scruff of the neck and winning it himself sometimes? Brian Mbuemo. You want to talk about Bournemouth? We've talked about Bournemouth, by the way. Injury issues. They've not had it as bad as us, but they've had some pretty bad injury issues. So I do feel some sympathy towards them. And at times, okay, maybe they're not missing, the main 2 centre-halves, the main couple of attackers, blah, blah, blah. But they're still missing the ability to then rotate and keep a team fresh. And you've got Justin Kluivert, who no one's talking about. And you've got Antoine Semenyo, who are just killing it for them. Who are actually somewhat keeping them afloat. Not in terms of relegation, but you know what I mean, in terms of how their trajectory's gone in the league. People put it on the coach, but sometimes also players can just win games by themselves. Sometimes the coach doesn't impact that as much. As Ange have said and as Peps have said, I will get you to that final third. What you do in that final third is up to you, right? That's what they say. These top coaches will get you there, but you gotta create that magic when you're there because I can't do it all for you. So yeah, I'm just saying 50 odd million for Dibling or 50 odd million for Semenyo. Let's do that poll actually. There we go. Pick one. They're both 50 mil, all right, in my world. It might be a few quid either side, but you just get my point. I want to see this, okay? Excuse me. And I can read your comments as you're voting. My expectation looks no further than the next game. Trying to predict anything with Spurs is a hiding to nowhere. More than anime, got any good news for us? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The injury returns are great news. Let's face, we only want to see Dibling signs so we can hear his Dibling dribbling up the right. Hey, it'd be a good tune. It'd be a good tune, you know? Morning, sorry. How are you? I think someone like Harvey Elliott would be a far better signing than Dibling at similar price. Has a bit more experiences at a club with winning culture. I think with Harvey Elliott, it's so difficult when it comes to Liverpool because like he plays in domestic cup competitions, right? And like, I've actually watched him for England under 21s because I think I was there. Not there, sorry. I was watching it. It was because I had it on YouTube, which is quite nice when you get to watch the under 21 games on YouTube. Like it's in the afternoon, you do some work and you stick it in the background. And I thought I'll stick that in the background because it's a couple of hours, a bit of background noise. And then, England scored early. So I started watching it a bit more intently. And I thought, oh, well, Archie Gray's there. I'll be watching a little bit of Archie Gray. And Elliot looked like a level above everyone else on that pitch, and he is a good player. He wouldn't really be your right winger, though. He's more central based now when you think I think he was probably more right wing at the start, but I look at him more centrally now. Doesn't mean he can't play on the right wing, but I think he'd be so good at like that sort of mid-table-ish sides. I think I look at him a bit like a Smith Rowe because I think Smith Rowe's had a really strong season for Fulham. I think Harvey Elliott could do something fairly similar in that regard. That's not a dig at Harvey Elliott. I don't think Fulham's not a bad, and that's not a dig at Fulham, by the way, because I know some people try and take that as a dig, but it's not. Honey Sandy, Dibling has less chance for competitors. Levy feels like he saved us cash. That is why we've all seen Spurs people run away if another team shows up. Oh, they do. They do. But I'm not saying he's not a good player. I think, don't misconstrue my point. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying we've been linked to multiple players who are better than him. Multiple. You have to watch the games to make an assessment of Dibling. Look at the numbers on the screen. Doesn't tell anything. I know. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're a great indicator and they definitely help, but it's not everything. Absolutely. What I would say is when you look at quite a few of the Southampton fans, they go, God, he had a really good sort of 6 weeks and he's done absolutely, to put it a quote, he had a really good month to 6 weeks and down tools. That's what their Southampton fans have said about him, which is not a good sign. And I will say this actually, and if that's true, and we're going to take that, we're going to grab a big bucket of salt, all right? I'm going to take a massive old grab of it, right? We've seen other players who are around that age get absolutely crucified for a bad attitude. So worry if that's true, and again, it's it's not guaranteed. I'm not speaking a gospel here. That would be a worry. Not saying it's true though, so don't take it as I think it's true either. All right. Morning, Andy. Do you fancy us for the Europa League? Absolutely, Glenn. I do. I'd love Mbuemo, Andy, on that train with you, right? Yeah, I would love Brian Mbuemo so much. Oh my god. Like, look, I think Mbuemo would be my number one. Semenyo would be my number two. By the way, I'm talking about like wingers. I'm not talking like a Cunha or something like that. Sorry, Cunha, not Acuna, just Cunha. Acuna plays in Argentina now. Found that out through FIFA the other day when I was playing it. Semenyo or Mbuemo would be my number one and two. Mbuemo would be my number one, but they're my top two, and then there's a good gap, in my opinion, to the next lot. Honestly, don't know what Dibling is. He is not an out-and-out winger. Do you know what? Someone said that he's a lot like Gareth Bale, and it was like, no, he's not. Just no, he's not. If you know anything about Gareth Bale, you know he's absolutely nothing like Gareth Bale. Okay. How many of these people would have watched Dibling? Downside, Kulu's out for 2 matches, but we have 3 coming back at least. I'm coming to it, Boris. I'm coming to it, buddy. Give me a second. Dibling reminds me of the Brennan Johnson story. Didn't look all that when he started, but turned into someone more reliable. Same with Jed Spence. Yeah, there's not to say that he can't develop. No, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. What I'm referring to is fans that are wanting more ready to go players right now. And my point is he's not on that level with those other players. And we have our own fans who don't give half the time for like youth players. Like they didn't even want Lucas, but they wanted a lot of fans wanted Lucas Bergvall out on loan in January. Just I'm gonna let that settle. Lucas Bergvall out in January. Been our best midfielder for the last 2 months. So you know what I mean? It's would fan. I mean, fans didn't give Brennan Johnson any time. After like 2 or 3 games, fans were writing Brennan Johnson off. Why would Tyler Dibling be given any more time? Is it because Brennan Johnson's Welsh and Tyler Dibling's English? That's the only reason to give him more time. I for me, think there's a player there, but you're also spending big chunk of money on a guy who's 2 goals in the Premier League this season. And for our right wing, our right-hand side, our attacker this season has turned into our goal scorer, and our right back has turned into the creator, the guy who puts the ball in the box better. Is Dibling one of those 2 things? Because Brian Mbeumo is the goal scorer. Brian Mbeumo is an absolute flat-out goal scorer. I mean, Brian Mbeumo this season, and I'm not saying we're going to get Brian. I mean, 27 matches in the Premier League, 15 goals, 4 assists, 19 goal contributions. You know, they sold Ivan Toney, by the way. His contract runs until the summer of 2027 because it runs to 2026, but the club have an option to extend for another year. I mean, 31 games across all competitions. He has 20 goal contributions. Brian Mbeumo has actually been worse in the EFL Cup. He's only got 1 assist compared to Dibling's 2 or 2 goals, whatever it is. And he's only played 1 game in the FA Cup. No goals or assists. So in those competitions, Dibling has 4, and Brian only has 1. But in the rest, Brian has 19 to Dibling's 2. And I'm not comparing them to say Dibling should be doing what Brian Mbeumo does. No, that Brian Mbeumo's multiple years on. This is my point. My point is give me a guy who's ready to go right this second, who's going to impact the club in a massive way. That's my attitude. You know, when we talk about the summer last summer and we go, we were left short. We weren't left ready to go. I don't want to get into that situation again. We need a big summer this summer. And I don't have any issues with buying young players, you know, like Bergvall and Gray, super exciting. And ironically, due to the injuries, they've had to play and develop. But give me the right winger who, you know, if people would go, I want to get off my feet and watch that right winger, go get Semenyo. Go get Semenyo. I want to watch that right winger who, you know, who helped me get off my feet, but also score goals. Okay, Brian Mbeumo. You know, let's have a look. I do think it's better century as well. I just think homegrown players is the type they should look at. Most fans got no idea about football. Spurs, it's all opinion based. I mean, I don't think my opinion's gospel either. Trust me, I get a lot of things wrong. My big one last summer was I don't want Rafinha. I don't think Rafinha's good at the moment. That is aged like milk. Oh my God. The guy is having an absolutely incredible season. And I was so far off the mark on Rafinha. It's ridiculous. I mean, there for a while, I wanted Tony ahead of Solanke. And then by the end, I'd kind of changed my tune and I did want Solanke instead. So, you know, sometimes you get things right. Sometimes you get things wrong. You know, that's the beauty of it all. Spurs signed Semenyo, Cotto, so great. Well, yabba dabba do then. Morning, Dente. I'm good. How are you, my friend? And Mbeumo and Eze is who I have at 1 and 2. Then teams like Archie and Lucas. Lucas will get injured, so chances high. Yeah, I think Spencer's got to be in the England squad. If he's not, then I don't know what else he can do. You know, he's been one of the most informed players in the last month or two. I see people are using age as a factor since Johnson is a couple years older. Not my opinion, but would be what others would use for Dibling compared to Johnson. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? Do you know what? It's a difficult one. I- people, I said right with Johnson. Had Johnson been signed for 30 million, not 47, I think fans would love him 100 times more. But because he got bought for really big money, fans expected, prime Lionel Messi to be turning up, right? If Dibling is being signed for even more money than Johnson, you would expect him to come in and hit the ground running and score goals and assists. People have slagged off Savinho for the fact that he can beat a player, but his delivery is not great, and things like that. People are going to slag off Dibling. Doesn't matter that he's going to be young. People are going to go, look, mate, you've been bought for 50 million. You're going to have to be coming in here and getting what Johnson got 15 goal contributions last season. People are going to go, we want at least 15 from you this season. And he still might do it this season. There's still plenty of time. A few good games in a row. That number from 2 in 23 could go up to 7 in 26. And you start to look at it and go, actually, he's really developing. You can see the development going up there. I just wouldn't feel comfortable right now spending 50 odd million on him because that's what's the numbers being touted is about 50 million. I'm not comfortable paying. I wouldn't be comfortable paying that. I'm looking at Brian Mbuemo for an extra 10 million and going, I'll have that, please. That's the point I'm going with. Not a bad player. Go and get me the guy for an extra few mil, the guy that's going to absolutely help us massively. Just my thought. To be fair, Bergvall looked a little lost up to the Gala game when he's playing in Europa at that point. So it looked like an English loan might have helped him, but hindsight is great. Hindsight is great. What will be your midfield match as Kulu got injured? I think Kulu I had on the bench. I think I went for Basuma, Sarr, and Madison. So actually, I don't think that's changed my thinking, to be honest. That's why we aren't coaches. Hey, Andy, you just know that Paris is going to score against us, don't you? I think I predicted Paris to score against us, but I said 2-1, which I want to talk about the AZ Alkmaar game because Arsenal yesterday did something quite interesting. Yeah, milk in an Aussie dessert, no less. I said to you in the summer that we should go Rafinha. That's one of my rare right ones. It's one of my common wrong ones. It's not even rare that I get things wrong. I get a lot of things wrong. Mbeumo is also as good as a striker as he's on the wing. The versatility. We wanted Tony over Solanke. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think for a long time we did. And then I think I started to look at it and went, actually, Tony doesn't press half the way that old Big Dom does. A few more comments, and then I'm going to talk about the Avengers coming back. Spence should be in the definitely squad. Yeah, let's get talking. No, would you take Bernardo Silva as City's? No, I think he'll be off to Barca. Morning naughty paperclip. What do you think of Brennan? He went to Spurs as an international 47 minute. Gray came as a promising youngster from the Championship for close to 40 minutes. It's just the inflated market. Well, I think with Gray, that 40 million was coinciding with that 10 million for Joe Rodon. So I always look at Gray as a 30 million pound signing. I look at like James Madison's a 30 million signing due to Harry Winks for 10 million, to be fair. They're not, obviously. I know they're 40, but I just, in my head, from the old school championship managers of like the 0102 windows, and when you can do part exchanges, and they were deemed as part exchanges, not two separate deals, but they are basically part exchanges, I don't want to see Basuma start another game for us this season. We prefer Gray in the midfield. Now that Romero and Van der Ven are back, Basuma can be sold in the summer. Has cost us matches. Was never for Tony. You can't take a risk in spending big money on a player with high wages, gambling addiction. Morning it is. No Matters would be round 20 odd since both Winks and Skip. Skip was this season. Matters was the season before, mate. I really don't want that fraud Werner take any more of Mikey Moore's minutes. We could have gotten Gordon. I thought Tony was slightly higher quality, but Slanky would suit Angel better. That was my good call last season. Steve, we've all got to have at least one good call a year. My big one probably was Vicario is actually a good keeper. I was one of maybe the only few YouTubers, I don't know, maybe there was loads of us who said, actually, maybe we don't judge Vicario on one game. Maybe let's just see what he's like after a few games, maybe a few months even. And the whole time I was like, ho, got one right, didn't I? I'm 1 of 10, but I got that one right. Well, if I had to guess, it'd probably 20, 30 up front and 20 minutes noise from us. Imagine Dancer and Mera combination. Ooh, bit of vibe, wouldn't it? Right. Anyway, let's talk about the Avengers. Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and old Big Dom back in training. You're thinking, Andy, that's some decent news. But I mean, where's the good news, Andy? Come on. So waste my time. And I'm like, all right. Don't give me that. Do you want some good news? I'll give you some bloody good news. They are all in line to be in the squad for AZ Alkmaar on Thursday. Tomorrow, they are in line to make the squad. The boys are back. All right. The boys are back. Just think of explosions going off in the background right here. Ignore the wall. I'm supposed to put up a green screen, actually, at some point today or tomorrow. Think of explosions. The three of them walking in. Shades on, Romero's definitely the Hulk. All right? He's definitely the Hulk. Big Dom is like a Captain America because he's the guy with like the energy he can press. And old Mickey van der Ven, he's definitely a Thor, isn't he? I think he's the Thor. I'm not going to give him Quicksilver because that feels like a downgrade, Don't no. Al Dente just said Quicksilver. I knew someone would say that. No, I don't view him as Quicksilver, even though he's quick. Don't view him as that because Quicksilver is just sort of that. He's over there. Whereas Thor, you're like, oh, Thor. I'm just saying. A little bit of Spider-Man, even maybe. But look, the boys are coming back, and when we actually think about it, it's really weird. I think there's a couple of players I think are going to really, really benefit from them coming back, right? And you think that's a bit weird. They're taking minutes off of other players, and I'm like, yeah, no. Just we're gonna come here. It's like the Wizard of Oz. We're gonna go on the yellow brick road. All right, just follow me. All right, there's a thumbs up. You're welcome. Follow me. All right, Matisse Tell. He could do with probably working with another striker, right? Working with a goal scorer. Could do with sometimes as well not having to play every game 90 minutes. Energy level is going to be better. Oh, Big Dom's back. All right. And then Richarlison's going to be back as well. All right. Nice. Okay. All right. Big Dom. How you been, bud? And then you look at defence and you're thinking, Big Kev. How you been, big man? You're thinking, hey, Kev's been great. I love Big Kev. All right. Big Kev's probably looking at going, wouldn't mind like a few days off every now and then. And you're thinking, Big Kev, I get you. We all like a few days off. Christian Romero's back anyway. So you're going to get some time off every now and then now. And Big Kev's like, oh, nice. Well, I'll put my feet up. I'm not needed for this game. Oh, Cootie's here. And you think he is. And then you're looking at Ben Davies going, Ben, you know that injury issue that you've got, which is not, it's not awful, but it's giving some discomfort. He's like, yeah, I know, right? It's this and that and the other. And you go, hey, get yourself a week off. We'll see you next week. And he's thinking, oh, all expenses holiday. I'm like, okay, I can't afford that. I can't afford to send you an all expenses holiday. But old Mick's back. And he's going, oh, okay, well, I'm not needed this week. And then before you know it, those players that we are talking about who are playing 90 minutes a week, 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, you got to remember, we play tomorrow, right? We play Sunday, we play Thursday, and then we play Sunday. That's a lot of football over those 4 games, right? There's a lot of football over basically 11 days, 10-11 days, right? Because your recovery is going to start from that Friday. So you got Friday, Saturday, going at it again on Sunday. So your recovery is reset back to the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday. It's resetting again until the Friday, Saturday, go again. You're not getting a ton of football, right? Sorry, a ton of rest. So in that period, you start to look at that squad and you start to go, okay, we're missing Kulusevski. Kulusevski out injured with a foot injury. We don't know how long he's going to be, but let's be honest, he's probably going to be out till after the international break. Okay? He's in a medical foot cast right now. He's not going to be back for at least a few weeks. Okay, cool. Right. Then you look at James Maddison and you go, cotton wool. We are getting you in cotton wool because we cannot afford to lose the creative midfielder that we have. So I'm looking at James Maddison for AZ Alkmaar. I'm going 60 minutes. You are hooked. I do not care about what that scoreline says. You are hooked at 60 minutes. We're going to put Lucas Bergvall on for those last 30. Get yourself on, lads. No mucking around. Blah, blah, blah. Even if it's like, we're going to put you on, and then we're going to put Son on as well with you. So then it's a bit more experience in that left-hand side. We're going to put Sonny on with you. Grand, not a problem. You start to look at Brennan Johnson and you go, can't afford to risk him. We cannot afford to lose him as well. Start to look at the Odegaard, start to look at the Mikey Moore, start to look at the Matisse Telles out on that right wing and start to go, look, mate, we're going to need you because at the end of the day, we've got all these games coming up. We need you. We need Madison. We need all these guys who their rotational options are a little bit stricter and a little bit tougher. What am I jabbering on about? Yeah, just joking around, Simo, aren't I? Dancer would have known the reality of it all when he signed players, know what's up and what's up to him before when he's retired. Rotation is going to be amazing. Van de Ven could possibly even play left back if we seriously need him there. Excuse me. Well, the thing is, Spence is in the squad now. So for all the people that I've had to deal with for the last few months going, he got it wrong, he should have put Spence in the squad. I mean, the irony is that we did need Forster at one point, but it's neither here nor there. Nobody I found was right and nobody I found was wrong. There was an argument for both ways. Spence is now in the squad, though. You know what I mean? Like, now it's like, we don't need to be running Destiny Doggy into the ground. We don't need to be running. How Pedro Porro, I can't lie, how he's still fit this season, I do not know. That's Iron Man. Of the Avengers, that's Iron Man because he seems to just not break down. So having Spence in that squad, having Archie Gray in that squad, I get Archie Gray. I want to see him in the midfield. I get it. I'm not denying it. His versatility is super important in a European squad. I'm doing a little dance there. Spurs not running the weekends give me a bit of energy, I know. I heard that Michael Oliver will not be refereeing games this season. Don't know, mate. Dance is better than Romero. Oh. Well, to be fair, I thought Danso was at fault for the City goal that we conceded. So, 2 ways you can go about it. Romero's still a very good centre-half, mate. Rather have Bakayoko, the guy that can't start ahead of 36-year-old Ivan Perisic. Now, it's predicted Arsenal demolish PSV 7-1. One comes out in a minute. If Arsenal could demolish beat 7-1, then we ought to display AZ comfortably. I mean, PSV are better than AZ, aren't they? Sane for Son, will you take it? No. Only joking, mate. I rate you Jabba. Will Porro get a call up? To where? To my 5-a-side team. Porro and Gray have been immense for us. Absolutely. Archie Gray is Spider-Man. There you go. He's the Spider-Man. We're working out who the Avengers all are. But look, in reality, I made a point yesterday. And what other stadium in the world do I like? I love the San Siro. San Siro is, outside of Spurs, the best stadium I've ever been to. And I watched Juventus Milan at the San Siro. Not Inter, I watched AC. And it was 8 or 9 years ago now. I think it was Bonaventura scored an absolute screamer for AC Milan. That was a great one. That was great. It was a crap game, though. I saw Dybala. Did I see Higuain? I might have saw Higuain. It was before Ronaldo got there. I know that. That's all I know. But look, no, back to the point. I made a point yesterday, and I think some people maybe took it the wrong way, where I said, don't look at me saying I wanted Destiny, Doggy, and Pedro Porro to start, or Bissouma and Sarr to start ahead of like your Bergvall, your Grays, and your Spencers, as me saying I don't rate them above those players. It's actually the opposite. I'm saying I'm going to need those 3 guys over this basically 11-day period. I'm going to need these 3 guys to play big football for us. This is one of 4 games. 1 of 4, right? It's not like we're playing today and we play in 11 days' time where we can just go strength, strong, I'm looking at it as going a little bit strong, a little bit of rotation. Sunday, a little bit strong, a little bit of rotation, and keep going forward like that. Mickey and Kuti being back, they're not playing 90 minutes. Even if they start tomorrow, they're not playing 90 minutes. And I don't think both will be starting tomorrow. You may get one, maybe. But old Big Kev is going to be starting tomorrow. And I would actually be somewhat disappointed if I saw both of them start tomorrow. I think this is a great opportunity for Big Kev to start. He's been in some good form. Keep keep that form up with him developing a bit of a connection with another centre back, and it might be Romero. Al Dente reckons it might be. Let me get rid of this bloody poll. They can have Werner. I don't want Bruno Fernandes. James Maddison, I'd prefer personally, just for what James Maddison does for us. Wait till someone goes, you think James Maddison's better than Bruno Fernandes? Oh my God. All right, calm down, Chief. You think, yeah, Romero starts. I don't know. Look, I expect maybe one of them to. I mean, the way I look at it, could they both play 45 minutes each? If both Mickey and Kuti can play 45 minutes each, one plays the first half, one plays the second half. That's the way I would do it. And old Big Kev can start next to them, each one of them, right? Or you might go, we won't get that much football out of all of them. Oh, is Ben Davies ready to play? I mean, Ben Davies missed the last few weeks. Is he ready to go now? I've not seen anything to say that he's not, but I've also seen nothing to say that he is ready to go. I wouldn't hate the idea that, maybe Ben Davies is a guy that gets a lot of minutes on Thursday. I mean, how great would it be if you say, we're going to give Desi Adoggy 60 minutes. And then we're going to put Ben Davies at left back. We're going to sub on Mickey Van Aven for 30 minutes. I don't hate that idea either. I don't hate that idea whatsoever. Maybe Ben Davies does play a full 90. But you say, Ben, we're going to use you next week as well. Next Thursday, we want you to play a full 90 as well, So that's the way I look at it. The ability to sort of get these guys, I like to call them minutes off. How nice would it be for, a Heung-Min Son to play 60 minutes tomorrow night and you get him off, you hook him. Or you say Sonny's going to be on the bench, we're going to get him 30 minutes, hook. And then, you hook Odebear at 60 minutes. I know for a lot of us, we look at the Europa League as the be-all and end-all of our season, but we can't just sack off the league just because of this. You can still get European football through the league. Absolutely. I look at the teams above us all the way into that Champions League area, and I'm thinking, well, our strongest team's virtually back. What teams above us can you categorically say leading into those Champions League spots? And I'm not talking about Liverpool, all right? I'm talking about like third to all the way down to that. What teams can you categorically say are better than us? Man City? Oh, we did a double over them this season. I wouldn't say they're categorically better than us. Over history, yes, they are. And if it had Rodri, yes, they are. I'm not denying that. Calm down. Just saying on this season alone. Chelsea, slap bang out of form. I fancy us over a Bournemouth, a Fulham, a Brighton, a Forest even, a Newcastle. I mean, if it wasn't for some dodgy refereeing decisions, we would have got some results against Newcastle this season. So, just saying, don't write off the season just yet. Start Timo if you must. Just keep all the injured guys to the weekend. I fear the worst if anyone is on injuries. If one of our injured guys start with our luck. Yeah, there's also a part of that for me. I agree, mate. The young Slayer. I remember that's a bit like, ooh, I look at him and I'm like, every time you see Mickey sort of hit a burst, a sprint, you're like, oh, okay, he's okay. Fair enough. Spurs link with Danny Aarons. Do you think it will happen? If we could getting all of our players fit and healthy rest of the season, there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning the Europa. Absolutely. Look, I've said it all along. Every team in the Europa, 100%, who wins it? Us. Us. Well, Man United are on the side of the draw. We've beaten 3 times this season. We beat them when they were struggling with injury issues. We beat them when we were struggling with injury issues. And then when we had a full 11, virtually near enough with their full 11, we absolutely demolished them away from home 3-0. Sociedad, not been great this season. Lazio, solid, but they're not one of the best teams in Italy. Ajax doing well in the league this season. Frankfurt, look good in the Bundesliga, just sold Marmouche. Bilbao is the one that gives you a little bit of a fright. They're the Spanish team that gives you the fright. But you should, no offense, I think you should still beat Bilbao. you know. And to be honest, a lot of those teams are on the other side of the draw anyway, so you won't even meet some of those teams until the final, you know. Big D, mate, how are you? We should get 5 goals lead in the first leg. So if the second leg, we'll get minutes to the academy players. Next big Premier League game is Chelsea, who are up and down as well. Let's get in Kunku. We need some balloons for protest. I'll be sitting. Potentially. We need to be able to go full strength to get AZ in the second leg if needs must. So we may use a weakened side versus Bournemouth, depending on what happens tomorrow night. Well, look, for me, rotate. Have a bit of both. Have a bit of both. Rotate. That's what we all have all wanted for months. We now get the opportunity to rotate, and people were going, no, don't rotate. Strongest 11, rotate for Bournemouth. And it's like, or crazy one, right? Crazy idea. Listen to this. You just rotate for both games, and you keep a really strong 11 for both games. What? No. Ajax are a mess. Our honest competition. No, Ajax are doing well in their league. I think they're second in the Eredivisie. They Ajax last season, not great. Ajax this season, much better. Did you notice Romero Dancer in the training vids? I didn't. We beat them with a football, and we beat them with the worst manager in the universe too. Nico Williams against Porro would give me nightmares. Sick me at right back. Going to take a red card, right? I'm going to take a red card. You're going to go, Andy, we're going to be down to 10 men. Yeah, but what happens when I pick up Nico Williams and I run down the tunnel with him? And then I go, well, you can't get back out there. You can't get back out there, lad. All right. You know, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass. But if we need a strongest team versus AS, we can't be rotating. We can rotate. Again, my rotation, look at fullbacks. Desi, Dog, and Porro were your starting fullbacks last year. You rotate and Spence with them. Is anyone going to have any issues? No. You got Mickey van der Ven, Romero, Danso. You rotate them. Anyone going to have any real issues? No. Look at the midfield. Oh, we're gonna rotate, you know, Lucas Bergvall and Pape Massai. Anyone going to have any real issues? No. You know, Tell is going to be rotating in with old Solanke. You know, Odebear with Sonny. I'm not going to have any issues. If he goes out there with Odebear, Solanke for 45 to 60 minutes and Johnson, I'm fine with that. Not a problem. You know, let's play Porro right wing. Absolutely not. Jed would pocket Nico this season, the form that he's in. Just send me out there, mate. I'll deal with him. I'll deal with him. I'd go, okay. All right. Give me a second. I need like 30 minutes to get my joints all up and running. All right. But once they do, I'm picking you up and I'm running down the tunnel with you. And if you think you're too quick to get away from me, I did play rugby for a little while. So I will take you down. Let's play the formation that we played against Leicester with 3 centre back. I wouldn't be fine with that front 3. We tried the versus City and couldn't hold to the ball. AZ Alkmaar, Man City, slightly different teams. You're also playing a team in AZ Alkmaar have played twice since we last played. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. Otherwise, are you just rotating for Bournemouth? And if that's the case, you think AZ Alkmaar are better than Bournemouth, who, no offense, I don't think they are. You know? Rotate Johnson with Johnson. Whoa. Off topic, but you think the club should do a Swiss choice of Asia again? Well, they do Asia because of the brand presence they have out in Asia, but I think they should be doing other places in the world. I mean, they do Australia because of Ange, but like, yeah, I don't have any issues with doing like a bit of a Scandinavian tour. I mean, they did America for a while. They just stopped doing America now, which is kind of odd. You know, we were quite big in America at one point, you know, with the Under Armour side of the world. I mean, it helped. You had Clint Dempsey, I guess. That did help. But I know issues if they did an America style thing every now and then. You know, it doesn't always have to be Asia or Australia, but it swings and flows. Like there's sometimes that you'll do those two, and there's times where you'll do it in America. And there'll come a time when there is a Scandinavian revolution at Spurs, which it could be starting up soon. Yeah, if you sign Hugo Larsson, I'm just saying that the Scandinavian, you know, revolution is very much on at that point. You could, yeah. You know, I think our matches versus a high priority. I view every game as important, mate. I'm not sacking off the league just for the Europa League. I'm not sacking the Europa League. I'm not sacking off the Premier League when there's still so much to play for. Let's do North Korea. Well, there you go. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I need to upload on the second channel now and start to do a dog walk. So thank you all so much for joining me this morning. Go and enjoy the rest of your days, the mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are in the world. Thank you all so much for joining me. And I'll be back tomorrow to give you my last minute thoughts ahead of AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Peace.